we go. Pot-smoking stepson. Hey there, Billy Sizzlechest. All right, a Jerky Boys reference. I like it. If you and the lovely Nia would address my question, I would be honored. Well, she's back in L.A., and I'm hanging out with the fellas. I am the stepfather to a troubled and slightly delayed 16-year-old. Think toddler mentality tantrums with only a slightly more advanced intellect. I confronted him last night after I smelled a distinct aroma of weed coming from... Hang on. Hey, Verzi, I'm wrapping up my podcast. Let me call you in about 10 minutes, all right?
All right.
Cool. He said, if you and the lovely Nia, blah, 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 blah. I confronted him last night after I smelled a distinct aroma of weed coming from the basement. Oh, Jesus. Previously, I'd questioned him after he had masked it with cologne, which he always denied. He finally admitted his use and that he had been buying from a classmate. His mother, whom I love dearly and with whom I have 2 kids of my own, ages 6 and 8, seems to think that this is not a bad thing given what we have endured with him. I won't go into all the details, but the cops have been to our house 3 times in the last 6 months for his violent behavior, breaking shit in our house and threatening suicide. Oh, my God. Dude, I think you need to talk to a professional here. Tackling his mother and spitting in our faces. His dad beat him physically 2 years ago, which has resulted in him cutting all ties with that side of his family. She objects to the prescribed medication and thinks that weed could be the answer to mellow out his ADHD or Asperger's. I think it would only further complicate a problem and lead to harder drug use. We've been to multiple doctors and counselors, which have pretty much all suggested medication. We've even tried Eastern medicine. I know you don't have all the details, but am I right in my thinking? I told him if he tests positive, he will be out of the house. Ah, Jesus, dude, this is way beyond my shit. Okay, you need to talk to a professional. But having said that, if you want my opinion, knowing full well that I am not a doctor and I don't fucking know what I'm talking about, I think this kid needs some understanding rather than threats at this point. Granted, I know he's attacked you physically and spit in your face and all that type of shit. Yeah, I don't know what I would. I mean, personally, I would rather he smoked weed than went on some fucking medicine, because all that shit is new and they don't know what it does to you yet. And I'd be afraid if it was going to just kind of make him catatonic. So I would really research whatever the hell you're going to have him put into his body. But, like, I don't think that his acting out is crazy. I mean, can you imagine that? Like, your parents get divorced and you're trying to have a relationship with your dad, and your dad beats the shit out of you. Like, your own father, who's supposed to love you unconditionally, beats the shit out of you. Like, I don't even know how the hell I could wrap my head around that. And then he probably resents you because he wants his real dad, but then his real dad doesn't love him. I mean, that kid's in a hell of a place mentally. I know you have to be stern with him, but I would maybe try to talk to him. And maybe you could do this considering you're not his real dad. Like, just try to talk to him man to man. And just try to build some sort of a relationship where it kind of opens it up, where you guys can actually sit down and maybe you can share some of the shit that happened to him when you were a kid that disappointed you. I don't know if it's going to pale in comparison to his shit, but dude, that's really beyond where the fuck I'm at. I can't help you necessarily with that, but I wouldn't be closed off to weed, though. You know, I would much rather have a kid of mine smoking weed than to be on some sort of medicine. Look, basically, in life, there's a line, okay? And you have there's illegal and legal, all right? But they're both the same, you know? Like, the smartest mobsters in the world went legit. And what they did was they got onto the legal side of stealing. So now you don't have to hide your money. You don't have to wash it. You don't have to come up with all this shit. You don't have to have leg breakers. Okay, you don't need leg breakers anymore because the law is on your side when you steal. You have the cops, you have the court system, you have all of that shit that will just go over and pick this person up and handle it. And And you can go out and go buy a big, giant fucking house, and you don't have to worry about people going, where'd you get the money for that, okay? And that exists with extortion. That exists with, like, loan sharking, all of that. Banking is just legalized loan sharking. It's all the same fucking scam. And they don't need leg breakers anymore because they got the cops. Because it's legal. So, the same thing is going on with, like, drugs and all of that type of shit. These guys are legal drug dealers. So now they don't have to have, you know, fucking machine guns and all this type of shit, looking out for the cops and all that. They're on the legal side of this stuff. And that shit is, you know, like I mentioned before, in the FDA, you have people on that board that used to work for these fucking drug companies. And, you know, they get kickbacks. Look at these fucking presidents. The presidents makes $400,000-500,000 fucking year, and all of them are multimillionaires. And all of them, at the end of their careers, they go out and they give speeches for like $1 million a fucking night. What the fuck can you say in an hour that's worth $1 million? You're giving a speech. You should almost have to pay somebody $1,000 to listen to it because it's going to be boring as shit. But that's basically, that is the legal kickback. You know, hey, push this through, look the other way, so we can make this $1 zillion and get our yachts. And then when you fucking leave office, we will then hire you at our company to talk for an hour. We won't even listen. We're going to be looking at our fucking iPhones, and when it's done, we're going to give you a sack of fucking money. I mean, that's basically what's going on. So when you go into the getting your kid on drugs, you have to understand that that's the world that you're going into. And even though that it's legal and everybody has lab coats and they got degrees on the walls, it's still a filthy, filthy fucking business. And it's getting fucking worse. And that's why I'm telling you, you're seeing people ODing again the way you did back in the 60s when the first sort of like pills, that wave of pills came out and everybody, the doctors would just prescribe them. Oh, you got a nervous condition, and then they didn't know not to take them with alcohol. That's like all these fucking people who are ODing out there, like 10 years ago, like wouldn't have OD'd in that way because all of a sudden there's these new fucking drugs. And they're all coming through, and they're all getting pushed through because there's a bunch of fucking money at stake, okay? Now, I know I'm a moron, but that's basically what's going on. So I would... and then I feel on the other side where weed is becoming legal, it's becoming safer with like if you want your kid to smoke weed, like I would get him like I get him a vaporizer. So it's just the shit that he needs to get him high. And if it mellows him out and he's not going to flip the fuck out, because what weed's doing, whatever drug they're going to give you is kind of do the same thing, right? Just make this kid fucking relaxed. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. That's probably worth half a cent, but that's what I think on that shit.